Jarrell and I have been a couple for almost 7 years now at this point. Here's the story about how we met. Throughout our relationship, we went through ups, we went through downs, we went through losses. We lost people that were really special to us. We went through the pandemic, just all of it. Trauma bonding at its finest.
We also broke up a few times, and it was really, really hard. No great relationship doesn't, have really hard moments. And, many of you asked our story, and here it is. We're going to be walking you guys through how we met and how we started our relationship, all while taking a stroll through Old San Juan, Puerto Rico, because that's where we live today. So stick with us.
So let's just say it all started in the Instagram DMs. I remember just looking at Jarrell's profile and just thinking to myself, wow, this guy is really, really cute.
How'd you even see my profile?
I just randomly came across your profile because, I was living in New York City. And so during that time, I feel like everybody kind of just would follow each other, and we had some mutual followers. So I came across your profile. I looked through everything. I was like, oh wow, this guy's kind of cute. So at that time, I was still kind of I was out but not fully out. So I was still trying to be all mask and stuff. So I figured if I'm gonna flirt, I have to keep it a little bit masculine. So what did I do? I sent him a black heart.
Yeah, that black heart told me everything I had to know about him.
Yes, it did. And so, we got to talking. We were just, talking back and forth for a few days. And then finally, we decided to meet up.
Yeah, who asked who out on the first date? I think it was you.
Well, you know me. I'm a little bit more forward. But yes, I said, come on, let's chill. Let's hang out. And he came to Harlem because I was, like I mentioned earlier, I was living in New York City. And so, it was all history from there on.
All right, so after chatting on Instagram for a few days, Jose invited me out to Harlem. I was a bit nervous because he had a ton of Instagram followers at the time. He had 40,000 Instagram followers. I wasn't a nobody, I was on the scene in New York at the time.
Oh, he knew all the boys back in the day. Don't let him fool you.
Yeah, so I go out to New York. I'm in Harlem in front of his building, and he had me outside waiting for him. I must have been outside waiting for almost 30 minutes, it felt like.
I couldn't pick an outfit out. I changed my outfit 5 times.
I should have known what type of person he would have been by then, but I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be patient. He's really good looking. He seems really interested. And so I waited outside for him for almost half an hour, and then he came downstairs, and we had the best night ever. He took me out to drinks. He was a gentleman. Let me tell you guys, he was a gentleman. We went out to Harlem, had some drinks, and had really great conversation.
I remember he asked me if I ever think that we're in a simulation, and I was like, no.
Yeah, so one of the first things I asked him when we were on our date was, do you feel like we're in a simulation? And he looked at me and was like, no.
What did that just mean?
And right then I thought the date was going horrible, but it actually went really well. We had some drinks. We went back to his apartment to Netflix, but we were actually hanging out in his apartment. And I don't know why, but that night, after talking for hours, it felt like I had known him for years. And we ended up talking all night long. And I don't know, I got possessed by something. I'm like, let's go to sleep. And I literally grabbed his hand and walked into his bed.
Yeah, we literally slept together.
Yeah,
but not like you think. Okay,
we didn't
close the dawn.
Yeah, we didn't do anything sexual or anything like that. We just slept. Our first day meeting each other. We actually have a selfie that we took that night. I'm gonna put it right here on the screen. We took a selfie, and I look at this photo all the time when I want to think back at all of our happy moments. But yeah, we had the most amazing first date ever, which lasted all night. When we slept over. I never sleep over people's houses, or back then I wasn't that bold to just sleep in someone's apartment. As you know, sleeping with someone, just actually sleeping in the bed with them, is very intimate. And I wasn't really about that back then. I didn't really want to get too close. I was very guarded back then, but he made me feel comfortable. And fast forward to today, we're still a couple going 6 years strong.
Fast forward to today, and I actually ask him all the time, is there a glitch in the simulation? I'm a true believer of a simulation.
Yeah, now Jose thinks we're in a simulation, so go figure. So after our first date was incredible, we got a lot more comfortable with each other. We started inviting each other out to meet each other's friends
and family. And Jarrell actually invited me to his Thanksgiving,
which
he never invited no guys over. He had just freshly came out of the closet.
So after
imagine the awkwardness.
Yeah, after 2 months of talking, because we had met in September, at the end of September, and so fast forward to November, I was like, you know what? I've never invited a guy over to my family. My mom has never met any of my boyfriends. I had just got out the closet. My family hasn't met anyone. And yeah, I don't know, I just felt like I could trust him. I felt like I could trust him around my family, and he ended up going to my family's Thanksgiving.
Yeah, so going back to that day, I just remember putting my hand on Jarrell's shoulder, and I never felt so much tension in my life. Like,
Yeah, I mean, this was
literally-
his first Thanksgiving dinner.
it was literally just like a tap on the shoulder. That's it. And he looked like he was gonna melt.
He did this.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. It was hilarious.
That was the first time ever my mom saw anything gay about me in real life. So-
Listen, and then right after that, she was like, "Oh, do you want to go on family vacation?" And I was like, "Oh, sure." So
Yeah,
before you know it,
family vacation was the next year, so it was like committing to going to a family vacation.
Yes, yes. And listen, I didn't even have the money to go to that vacation, but she came up with a whole like payment plan. She found me someone to kind of front that money up front. And I ended up on a vacation to the Dominican Republic with like 20 people.
Yeah, here's a picture of that vacation. But I honestly owe it to that vacation, which kind of cemented our relationship. We had something to look forward to. So my biggest advice of people who are starting early on in their relationship is have something to look forward to and build to in order to kind of build that bond between you guys.
Yeah, I think it's all about just having goals. You can have your own personal goals, but having goals as a couple also really helps, because as Jarrell mentioned, looking forward to something is the key to keeping that relationship alive. Okay, we only have one life to live, so we want to make the most out of it. Things weren't always rainbows and unicorns with us. We actually broke up a few times early on in our relationship. I have to be honest, there were moments where I didn't know if we were gonna make it. Shit, we almost broke up over a pancake.
Yeah, we broke up more times than I could count in that first year of dating. And I think when you're first starting a relationship, it's like the commitment is kind of scary. So any exit you see, you might want to run and take it. But
Just for context, before Jarrell and I got together, I was single for about 6 years. So Jarrell was also single for a while too. And I think what happened was we were so used to just doing whatever we wanted to do and not worrying about anybody else that it was difficult. It was an adjustment, but we got through it.
yeah, we actually, like he was saying earlier, we actually broke up off of a pancake one time. And I think silly breakups are always bigger than what they are on the surface. So I was making pancakes one day, and like one of them came out a little crispier than the other pancakes, and I gave him the crispier pancake without even thinking about it.
Listen, he is not giving you the full details. Okay, let me paint the picture for you. First of all, we're in a relationship maybe about a month, and Jarrell wanted to do something nice. He wanted to make some pancakes for us. So when he goes to make the pancake, he gives me the more burnt one, and then there was another nice and golden one that looked really, really good and juicy. So
I
was
grew a
like-
liking to that
So
golden
he
pancake.
said, "This is what he said." I was like, "Can I have that pancake?" He's like, "No, I grew a liking to that pancake." So I was like, "Oh, really? So you're gonna cook for me and give me the shitty pancake and take the good pancake?" So I got so pissed that I ended up leaving the house, slammed the door, had to take a whole walk and everything over that goddamn
And I'm just
pancake.
looking at him, a grown man slamming the door over a pancake.
Yeah.
I was like, this is the biggest red flag for me. I don't know if I want to continue doing this. But and then we kind of had like a mini breakup after that. But when you came back upstairs, I don't know, something just clicked, and we like put all the pancakes together. We sliced the entire pile of pancakes in half.
We said moving forward, we're always gonna split the food up in half so that no one gets the short end of the stick. Everybody gets, equal amounts of pancakes and perfection.
And this philosophy has worked for so many different things in our relationship. So I advise all couples out there, if you guys are arguing over a pile of pancakes, just cut the thing in half and split it even.
I know it may sound silly for me to get angry over a pancake and kind of getting the shitty end of the stick, but for me, I think it was just a little bit triggering because I did grow up in a household where I was the older brother, and a lot of times my younger brother would always get the better things, the newer things, the more expensive things, the flashier things, and I always felt like I was getting the short end of the stick. So I think that sometimes when we're having issues in relationships and life in general, it's not about that actual thing. It's just part of, how you were raised, and sometimes things can just trigger you. The best advice I can give anyone that's unpacking their trauma while in a relationship is to learn to take a step back from the situation and not be so adamant in the fact that you're right. Don't always try to be right. Try to understand why you're feeling a certain emotion, and then circle back, because sometimes you just need to take a step back and realize that it's not just about that small burnt pancake. It's more so about things that you have to resolve within yourself, and you can figure that out together.
So after that first Thanksgiving that I spent with Jose over here, we actually decided that the next month we would go to his family for Christmas. And I was super nervous because I had never dated someone and met their whole family. And that's what ended up happening. We went from going to New Jersey all the way to Connecticut to go meet his family. We met his mom, his dad, his brother, and it was just a culture shift, like it was a different family from Connecticut, very different from mine.
What was the biggest thing that kind of stood out with my family versus yours?
His family loves poop jokes, fart jokes. They love a good fart joke.
One thing about us is we are not going to hold ourselves back. We're not going to put any hair on our tongue when we need to take a poop or when we need to fart.
Poop again! I know.
So the fart jokes and the poop jokes, it's like, that's us all day.
And his family was very outgoing. So when we first met, they weren't afraid of us showing each other affection in front of them. For instance, Jose's brother, Eros, who unfortunately passed away, and I think about all the time, he one time walked in on us kind of about to kiss, and we kind of jumped because I'm so used to being afraid sometimes, especially back then where I was just coming out of the closet. And he looked at us and was like, "Why are you jumping for? You don't have anything to worry about. If anybody got something to say about you, they got to go through me." And I wasn't used to that, and for that reason, it kind of solidified us early on in the relationship. Having that support from his family and mine just kind of helped us last this long. That's why we're still together. We've had that support all these years.
For those of you who don't know, I actually lost my brother due to gun violence, and it was just a really difficult time for me. Jarrell and I had been together for about, I want to say almost 2 years at that point. And so, just having him be there for me, and it just meant the world to me. He was there with my family. He was there for my breakdowns. He went through every phase of grief with me, and it was a very difficult time in my life because my brother was kind of the glue to my family. He was the jokester. He was the life of the party. He tied everyone together, and he was the most happiest when our family were together. And he brought in Jarrell like if it was his own family. He treated him as though he was one of our members of our family right from the beginning, just like Jarrell mentioned with that story.
And in any relationship, you really know if a person is your ride or die when stuff gets really tough, if they're still with you handling things that are really hard. For me, it was not easy to be there for him and his family when that happened, because I had never dealt with a loss that big. I didn't know what to do. But when your love is real and your love is strong, it's like you go on autopilot, and God tells you and guides you exactly where you need to go to support the family. And all right, we're in Old San Juan. Like we said in the beginning of this video, we're gonna get a cocktail from this place, Choco Bar. Let's see how it is. Where's Jose? We got to get him a little tipsy so I can ask him the juicier questions.
Yes, you got to get me loosey goosey so I could get that little
Ooh, okay. And this is the inside. We're about to get a drink.
So this is a chocolate themed restaurant. They have all different types of chocolate drinks and chocolate breakfast items. So I don't know, maybe I get a little chocolate drink.
All right, we're gonna try the espresso martini.
Espresso martini
for the first time
with chocolate whiskey and chocolate inside.
We've never had them here, so let's see how it tastes.
Let's see how it tastes.
Cheers.
Wait, cheers.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Delicious.
You can really taste the chocolate in this.
Wow.
So I gotta ask, now that you're getting some liquor in your system,
What was the first sip?
well, I know first sip don't matter.
I'm already tipsy off of one sip.
What was your first impression of me when we first met on our first date?
Well, the first impression I had of you was that you were really cute. You looked a little bit shy, timid, but I actually liked that. I don't know. It was so funny because when I walked outside the door, he looked at me. He had his glasses on and he went like this because he had the Harry Potter glasses, so he went like this. That was his main thing. You remember when you used to do that?
Yeah,
he was like that. And so he was trying to be cute or whatever. And as he was leaning on the car, so he got off the car. And as we're walking, all of a sudden he looked out of his foot and boom, he trips a little bit and he tried to play it off. And I act like I didn't see it, but I really did see it. It was so funny.
I was nervous. I mean, this was my first date in a really, really long time. All right, so here's some advice for those of you looking to meet your soulmates or your potential boyfriend or girlfriend. We've been together for 6 years, and you know, this was how we kind of got things going for ourselves.
Here's one of the biggest tips I can give anyone. Just make sure you're not going looking for a relationship. Sometimes the best relationships are the ones that just come when you least expect it. You know, when you're in a good place in your life where you're doing everything for yourself, you feel confident in yourself, you love yourself, you will then in turn attract someone that is also in a similar space. So I think the reason why when I met Jarrell was so great is that I was at a place where I graduated from college, I was making my own money, I moved to the city that I always wanted to live, and I was just in a really good place. So I wasn't looking for a relationship to make me complete. I was looking for a relationship that kind of just complemented my life, and I would say that was the biggest reason why Jarrell and I really worked out.
One of the biggest pieces of advice I could give to those of you who are looking for a relationship is be patient. I remember when I was a teenager, I would go on YouTube and Google, and I would Google how to find a boyfriend, and I'd be desperate to meet someone. And you know, when you're that desperate, you start ignoring red flags in people and you start dating the wrong kinds of people. Someone just said, "What's up, YouTube?" Just be patient when you're going on dates, because if you're not patient, you're gonna just end up in a situation that's unhealthy for you. You know, just be patient. What's meant for you will eventually find you. And for me in my relationship, I wasn't even looking for Jose, and he found me on Instagram, like we said earlier in this video. So yeah, that's my biggest take.
If you have any questions about dating or finding your person, then comment them below.
You know, we might not be experts. We've only been together for about 6.5 years, but we've definitely learned a thing or two about being in a relationship, going through our ups and downs. So yeah, feel free to ask us anything and we'll include your questions in our next YouTube video. Thanks for tuning in.